Has Xbox finally fixed this massive problem? Xbox is giving up on these games, and Halo is making a controversial change. Let's discuss. What's up guys, and welcome back to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. I'm back again to talk about all the stuff going on in the world of Xbox that you may have missed. I'm trying to make sure that you are just as Xbox ready as me. On the channel, I talk the latest Xbox news, I do game reviews, I do some accessory reviews, unboxings, all sorts of stuff related to Xbox. So if you're a veteran fan or new to the Xbox family, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, ring that little bell so you get alerted to whenever I post a new video. But let's dive right in. First up, let's talk about a problem that has been plaguing Xbox for a while now. I'm referring to the Xbox version of 2023's Game of the Year, Baldurs Gate 3. Now, there has been a lot of issues with this game and the Xbox platform dating back all the way to February of last year. But on December 7th, it looked like we were going to leave all of that behind as they finally released the Xbox version of Baldurs Gate 3 after the Game Awards. But no, the problems did not stop there. And one of the most annoying game-breaking bugs that people have been finding while playing Baldurs Gate 3 on their Xbox console is there is this bug that will mysteriously just delete the save files off of your console. This is something that we've talked about a lot on the channel before. People losing 10, 15, sometimes 75 hours of progress in this game. Now, in the modern gaming landscape, we put up with a lot of bugs, we put up with a lot of glitches, a lot of issues, but this is one that is just unforgivable, man. It is the last thing that you want to see when you come home from a long day of work or you just had a very stressful day. All you want to do is game and then, oh, all of your progress is gone. Both Larian Studios and Xbox have pushed out a couple of updates hoping to fix this problem, but to no avail. It got to the point where Larian Studios was like, okay guys, yeah, your saves might get deleted off your Xbox console, but if push comes to shove, just make sure that your data is in our cloud servers. That way you can re-download it. But for those of you who have been dealing with this problem since the game came out, we finally have a light at the end of the tunnel, it seems. Yesterday, the Xbox support Twitter account posted this. They said an Xbox system update will be rolling out from today to address the save game issue on Baldurs Gate 3. So you can either manually update your console in order to get this fixed, or wait till it just rolls out to your console automatically. I don't blame you if you're a little skeptical, you're like, I don't want to just take Xbox's word for it, but the director of publishing for Larian Studios followed up with his own tweet saying that save issue on Xbox should finally be over. Download the update when it goes live, and please do let me know how you get on. Hopefully that is the end of the Baldurs Gate 3 Xbox drama. It's been a very, very long saga that I've talked about in a number of videos, so I won't rehash all of it today. And if you've been a little hesitant to jump into this game because of this bug, well, maybe now's the time to try it out. Next up, let's talk about Xbox's latest failed experiment. Only 9 months after launching the game, Mojang Studios has confirmed that they are officially going into maintenance mode for their latest title, Minecraft Legends, that they developed in conjunction with Blackbird Interactive. The Minecraft RTS hybrid is going to get one last update, and then players are going to get a skin for their heroes, and then that's it. No more DLC, no nothing after this. They're still going to support the title, you'll still be able to play it online, and you'll still play the campaign. On one hand, this isn't super surprising because when the game launched last April, people didn't seem too crazy about it, critically or commercially. On the other hand, it is pretty surprising because, one, it's attached to a very well-known IP, and their past spin-off, Minecraft Dungeons, seemed to do pretty well for them. This was a game that they were showing off at last year's Developer Direct, so I'm pretty sure they had a longer-term plan for this game or expected it to stick around for a while. It's hard to explain, but when me and Jimmy went to go play this at the gameplay preview in LA, I swear it was fun, but everyone was in the same room, we were all laughing and screaming at each other. Unfortunately, this ended up being a game where the more you played it, the more time you invested in it, the more mediocre it became. There wasn't enough Minecrafty stuff for die-hard Minecraft fans, and for fans of the RTS genre, well, the elements weren't as deep in this game as, say, some other titles that we're used to, like Age of Empires, even something like Halo Wars.
This video is sponsored by Scentbird.
Let's be real, guys. There is a certain stereotype about gamers regarding their physical appearance and their smell. I mean, sometimes I just stink after playing 8 straight hours of Baldurs Gate 3. It happens. But with Scentbird, I get top tier cologne delivered straight to my door every month to help with that. This one, I got a couple of their original scents, and this one's my favorite. It's called 19 Degree. But they also offer brand names like Versace and Dolce & Gabbana. That's coming in my next box. But even if you don't know too much about cologne in general, they make it very easy on their website to get your signature scent. They have different categories that you can pick from, like cologne for hanging out or going to the gym, or cologne that's good for a date night. Here's what I like to do with my cologne. I take it, I do a little dab on the wrist, do a little dab on my other wrist, and then I do one on my neck, and then I take my wrist and I rub it all over my clothes. That's the technique. That's what I found is the most effective over the years. So if you're in the US or Canada, you can use my code XboxReady at Scentbird for 55% off your subscription to make sure that you are always smelling nice, clean, and fresh. That equates to like $7 for your first month. Thanks again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. And on top of that, we just got news that another Xbox exclusive has been shelved even before it had the chance to release. At least Minecraft Legends had a 9-month run. Fans of the Halo franchise have been waiting with bated breath to get more info about this Halo Battle Royale game being developed by Certain Affinity. According to rumors, it's been being worked on for the past 2 years under the codename Tatanka. Well, apparently we're not gonna get any more information about it because reportedly the project has been shelved. Of course, Microsoft and Xbox, they haven't confirmed or denied the existence of this battle royale yet. And there's a possibility that yes, it might be shelved, we're not going to be seeing anything about it, or it's just taken a different turn. But overall, I was pretty disappointed because I was curious about this, man. I thought it could work. I know we're all kind of burnt out on the battle royale genre, there's a ton of games that already cater to that, but I think the idea of like 50 to 100 Spartans all being freaking dropped via ODST drop pods onto a Halo ring and fighting it out is pretty cool. But even though we may not be getting a Halo battle royale, Halo fans still have something to look forward to because apparently there is a new Halo project that's not this battle royale being worked on as we speak. This guy Justin, who is an art designer for 343, on his LinkedIn profile, it says that he's been working on an unannounced Halo project since 2022. Also, if you look at this guy, Ian Slutz, what is that last name? That's a crazy last name, man. It might be pronounced Slutz, but it's spelled like sluts with a Z. No disrespect, but I'm just saying, like, that's a funny last name. Anyway, he's a senior character designer at 343, and it says that he's been working and building assets in Unreal Engine 5, leading people to believe that they're switching from the split-screen engine to Unreal Engine 5 for this next Halo project. That's consistent with rumors that we've been hearing about the next Halo game for a while, but not everyone is a big fan of Unreal Engine 5, especially my friend Jimmy. And while Unreal Engine might have its problems, I'm thinking like, okay, this is a commonly used engine, a lot of people know how to work with this thing, and I know that 343 in the past has had trouble training people to use their split stream engine. I also know that they have a lot of turnover in terms of staff, they have a revolving door of independent contractors, so maybe they were like, screw it, let's just switch to Unreal Engine 5 so we don't have to train anyone. I'm really hoping that this new Halo game focuses on the single player experience. I'm very interested to see where the story goes, especially because they did not continue the story from Halo Infinite with any DLC or updates or anything, and it kind of ended on a cliffhanger. So this is a great opportunity to correct that mistake and bring back the cutscenes, man. Do not tell the story through holograms. I'm tired of that. Honestly, it would be kind of cool just to have like a standalone single-player campaign and make sure that it's co-op at launch while just supporting the Halo Infinite multiplayer, because I am super satisfied with that. But no matter what happens, it's clear that the Halo franchise is due for some big changes. Next up, let's talk about Developer Direct. I literally just watched a show, that's why I'm in a completely different outfit. Like I said in my last video, I was super excited that they were bringing the show back, and they did not disappoint. Overall, I thought it was a very strong show, and I'm super surprised at how big of a turnaround it is from 2023. Think about what they showed off in the 2023 Developer Direct. Outside of Hi-Fi Rush, it was mostly multiplayer live service focused games, like Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, Redfall, online multiplayer live service. Fast forward to 2024, and they seem to be more focused and locked in on those single-player experiences, which is awesome. I feel like that's exactly what people wanted from Xbox at the start of this generation, and they're finally giving it to us. They kicked off the show with a deeper look into Obsidian's fantasy RPG, Avowed. And I gotta say, right off the bat, the presentation of this game was much more improved than what we saw at the summer showcase. They got to show off more of the Living Lands, which is where this game takes place, and it made for a much stronger presentation. Overall, I thought the textures and the landscapes looked really good graphically. I also thought the enemies and their designs looked really cool and sharp, like the little kobold people, and the frickin' bear, and the big like spider crab thing. However, the combat animation seemed to be a little clunky, on the slower side, on the stiffer side, and I would say that also applies to the facial animations. But honestly guys, after playing almost 200 hours of Baldur's Gate 3, I would say outside of the facial animations and expressions, that this game visually is on par with Baldur's Gate 3. Avowed almost kind of feels like playing a game like Baldur's Gate 3 but in first person with real-time combat. But whereas a game like Baldur's Gate 3, everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, it looks amazing, oh my god, this is amazing. Because Avowed is an Xbox first-party game, people are gonna hate on it and say it's PS1 graphics. Despite all that, I still thought the combat looked pretty fun. You can dual-wield wands, you can dual-wield pistols. It seems that you can quickly swap between weapon loadouts, and for anyone who played Skyrim, you know it was super frustrating having to pause the game literally to change to sword and shield, or sword and spell, or two-handed weapon. One of the things Obsidian does very well is this kind of moral gray area that they play with in their RPGs. They force you into some tough choices. Anyone who's played The Outer Worlds or Fallout New Vegas will know that. And ultimately, those story decisions are what's going to make or break this game for me. They said it's going to launch this fall 2024, but we didn't get a firm release date. Bear with me because that was a running theme for this showcase. They followed up Avowed's presentation with Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga. They've confirmed that the game's story is around Senua's journey in Iceland as she tracks down a band of Vikings who killed her family. They confirmed that Senua's psychosis is still in play. She still hears voices, she still has hallucinations. But whereas that was a huge obstacle in the first game for Senua, it seems that in Hellblade 2, while she may still be struggling with it, it provides her with certain advantages. It seems like the increased budget for this game is really coming in clutch for Ninja Theory. They showed off their motion capture stage, all of the cool stunt work that they were doing. All of that combined seems to be delivering what looks like a visually gorgeous, just visually immaculate looking game. They said they had an all-new combat system. Honestly, it looked more or less the same than what we saw in Hellblade 1, but they touched on an interesting thing that I've come to really appreciate over the past couple of years in combat games. They said that their goal with the combat in this game is to make you not feel like a superhero, like you're really having to scrape and claw your way out of these combat encounters. That's something I really liked about the first game, like the more damage that you took, the more tainted that you were, it would affect your vision, it would affect the animations. Like if you were one hit, literally one hit, you'd barely be able to see anything, and Senua was like, really struggling. And I hope that they crank up that feeling of like, oh my gosh, whoo, I just barely survived. They mentioned something really cool about the audio, which was fantastic in the first game. They said that in the first game, that the only audio that was binaural, which is when you can hear things kind of like, it's kind of like surround sound, but when you put on headphones, it's like, oh, a person's standing over there. Oh no, they're standing over here. They said that the only binaural stuff in the first game was the voices, but that in this game they've taken it to a new level and everything is binaural, including the music and the sound effects. This is the only game at this show that got a firm release date. It is coming out on May 21st. That guy, Ixtasis, that works for Xputer, apparently was right. He was dead on. Just in time for my birthday on the 23rd. And although we didn't get a shadow drop like we did last year with Hi-Fi Rush, we did get a surprise. Square Enix was like, yo, what up? I'm at Developer Direct. And they're like, oh, guess what? We're bringing the Mana franchise to Xbox consoles for the first time ever with Visions of Mana. Overall, I understand why this is important to Xbox. They've been making a huge effort this generation to bring more JRPGs and work more with Japanese publishers and bring their titles onto Xbox consoles. And while I can acknowledge that is cool that they're doing this and Visions of Mana, that's all very good. They seem very excited about this project. Just not the game for me. I'm not typically like a cute JRPG guy, not like a Genshin Impact guy or Honkai Star Rail, all of that, and it's kind of giving me those vibes. I will say that this dude's outfit is killer, man. The fit is immaculate. They gave a release window of summer 2024, but again, no firm release date. Following that up was Oxide Games, the creators of Civilization V, showing off their new grand strategy game, Aura History Untold. This is another game where I'm like, okay, someone out there is really going to enjoy and spend a lot of time with this game. That person is just not me. I like real-time strategy games like Age of Empires, grand strategy games like Civilization, not so much. But again, this seems like a project Oxide is very passionate about. They said that this is the game they've always dreamed of making, which is a little bit of a red flag because it seems like anytime a developer says that, the game turns out to be whatever. The living world concept was pretty interesting to me. They have a procedurally generated Earth that will literally transform based on the choices that you make in your civilization. And I was surprised to see how far into the future that this game goes. Like, they literally have like Gundam frickin' mech armor that they showed off. This is designated as another fall 2024 release. No release dates, man. What's going on? And last but not least, they finished off Developer Direct with the game that a lot of people were tuning in for specifically, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Turns out the leaks were right about that title. It seems that they're using a younger version, a younger model of Harrison Ford's face, but it's not Harrison Ford's voice. No way that he would do a video game this late in his career. It is gonna be first person, which immediately was turning a bunch of people off, which I don't understand personally. They're like, what do you mean? I want it to be third person. I want to look at Indiana Jones' ass. They also confirmed that this game is canon within the Indiana Jones timeline. It takes place before The Last Crusade. The exploration looked really cool in this. What little that we saw of the combat, I thought looked great. One of the things I really enjoyed about Resident Evil 4 Remake back in 2023 was how responsive the enemies were to where you shot them or where you did damage to them. If you shot someone in the knee, they were like, "Ah, my knee," and they would start to stumble, they would maybe fall over. And we saw a little bit of that in this Indiana Jones gameplay trailer. Specifically, there was a time when Indy used his whip and whipped this dude in the knee and he was like, "Ah," and he kind of like stumbled and he was like, "Ah, my knee." Unfortunately, this game, like all of the other games besides Hellblade, did not get a firm release date. All they said was that it was coming later in 2024. Overall, I thought it was a strong showing from Xbox. I think this is a really good crop of games, and it's making me excited all over again for 2024. And keep in mind, they didn't even show off their full slate of games that they have in 2024. There are so many Xbox exclusives that are slated to come out this year. It's looking good, guys. It's looking good. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, and we'll see you in the next video. Big shout out once again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video. Remember, if you use my code XboxReady on their website, you get 55% off of your first month subscription. All the info is down in the description below.